Wondering how to turn your dreams of entrepreneurship into a reality? Take the mystery out of success, clear the fog of failures, and use speaking to create a six-figure business. Learn the success strategies of international speaker and business coach Katya Ravi. Learn business from brave to rave.
Bonjour, 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 bonjour. We've had so much, actually so little snow the past week. This has been a crazy week at work, crazy week in North Carolina, in Chapel Hill. Let me fill you in a little bit. Last Thursday, we were, the weather announced and we were going to have some snow around 4 p.m. And the schools on Wednesday nights decided to close for Thursday. And I really have a hard time with that one. Now that if there's snow, if there's safety issues, my gosh, by all means, I do not want my kids in the bus or your kids in the bus or people on the road or, definitely not hear this is not what I'm talking about. However, closing an entire day of school, when we know then 4 p.m., is when snow is going to be started. Give or take, they're wrong, and it was going to start around 2 p.m. I think a half day would have been safe to say, let's have our kids work in the morning, and then we'll send them home to lunch in the preparation of what's going to happen. And the kids would have had a half day. It would have helped some of the single moms out there, to still be able to make money. We are some of the privileged one. When it affects us, we just have more time with our children, or we can stay home. And but it does affect many people, and I do believe it does affect us, because if my daughter is home, I am not working the same way. I'm distracted. I want to be with her. I want to go outside. I want to do stuff. I want to. I don't know, there's a totally different mindset when the kids are home. However, when I say that we are some of the lucky one, I know there's some people out there who do depends on a paycheck. And there's a lot of moms who couldn't go to work or who had to leave their kids by themselves. And it's just, every time these kind of things happen, I'm always thinking of how can I make things better? How could I change the system, or how can I help these single moms? And then of course on Friday we had a little bit of snow, so the schools were closed all day. Now I do believe then when the school decide to close all day, but then after 2 hours, they see most of the roads are melting. The bus would be safe. I don't understand why they don't come back and say, you know what, actually, we changed our mind. Or anyway, this is just kind of my 2 cents. But it goes back to kind of a teaching point for me. When there is this kind of things happening, when the schools say, oh, you know what, there's nothing yet, but we do believe then there will be, let's cancel just to be sure. What are we showing our children? How are we showing our children ethics, hard work, showing up on time, showing up no matter what? Because when we are older, when we depend on a paycheck during these 25 to, 30 some years, my gosh, they can't call mom and dad and say, oh, I know some people who do, so I know some people who are 45-year-old and who still, count on mom and dad and the government. But that's not what we're talking about here. But I don't like that. I don't believe that we are installing really good values into our children, then we need to work. We need to show up. The projects are due no matter the weather. And I don't know, that kind of, anyway, thank you. Thank you for letting me rant on this, because one of the big thing then it's happening is we're kind of showing our kids then shortcuts exist. If the weather is too loud, if the weather is this, if the wind is that, then, you don't need to show up at school. You have an excuse. So we're showing our kids that no matter what, they can find an excuse to not show up at work. And that, guys, drives me crazy. This is not how the world should run. There is absolutely no magic recipe to success. None. I'm going to say that. No magic recipe to success. There's no secret that I'm holding from you. There's no magic. We all pay the price. Maybe not just in the money form, but we pay it in many different things. And when things like that happen, we pay it with time. We have to catch up. And it affects in many other ways. So my daughter did not go to school last Thursday and last Friday. Of course, last Saturday, last Sunday, and today. And but she's also being pulled out of school on a trip who was very well thought of, who was very well planned for 5 more days. So of course I worried about that. It was totally fine. It is totally fine. I have met with the people in charge of the school. This is an educational trip. She's going to learn more in 5 days than she will learn in school. That's for sure. But, 2 more days right before is not something that I wanted to have. So sometimes we all pay the price, but not in just in the money form. The going could be, whether it's of our careers, our business, this going can be so slow and have so many obstacles. So many things may not go away overnight. So many things grow steady. And I think this is kind of what the point of this whole, school cancel thing kind of did for me. It's showing people then, well, you know what? 2 more days, 2 less days of work it's totally fine. You're still going to graduate. You're still going to have, what you need. You don't need to work harder. And that really is not setting people up, especially as entrepreneurs. First of all, I know if you are an entrepreneur, it affected you. If you had your kids on Thursday and Friday, you definitely couldn't work. So you may had to cancel some appointment. You may lose money. The growth of our business needs to be so steady. Then when something like that, what do we have in place for it? You see, I do believe then shortcuts are really usually charted by those people who are already have been where you are exploring, and they have returned to provide you the safest route. But you have to keep grinding every day. You have to keep putting in the work. I am so sorry to break this to you. Shortcuts absolutely do not exist. I don't believe they do. I believe then if we are better organized, if we are planning correctly, if we have things on our schedule, if we are mindful, if we have a budget, if we have everything in place to be successful, there's no shortcuts. It's how will we take the road from there on. We also need to learn how to be able to change directions. A lot of time we start business, it goes one way, we think it's going one way, this is what we want, we put something together, and then when we build the business, when we test the business, when we iterate the business, when we reiterate the business, we realize then we maybe have to pivot a little bit. Most of the time, the first product, the first service then we offer is that at the beginning, at the business startup, brings to the market, well, maybe it's not going to meet the market needs. And I see that with many clients. Many clients who come to me, they're like, this is what I do. This is why it's not really working well. Well, why? It's not meeting the market needs. So let's take a look at what does the market need with the strength that you have. You see, I do believe that every business startup has changed their direction at some point. I don't think it's really possible to accurately predict every single step that needs to be taken to be successful. It's sometimes things happen and you're like, whoa, maybe you're hitting a plateau or you don't know which direction you want to go next. And I always say, write down your number one business challenge. Write down your number one business question. Schedule whether it's with me as a business coach or with many people, we offer usually 15 to 30 minutes of our time to help people. And we give tips, or we should. We give tips. We don't hold back. And I do believe then that's a huge, huge help. But all that also comes with the work. We have to be working. We have to want it. We have to make sure then things happen. And sometimes we don't know how it's happening. Last week was a really amazing week for me. I'm very humbled. I'm very grateful. I am receiving an award from the 100 Successful Women in Business. There's a conference, an expo, and I am one of the people who is receiving the award. I am a very successful woman, and basically I'm being honored. I'm speaking there as well. But this is really humbling. This is something that I did last year. I went to this event. I spoke at that event, got client from this event, and wanted to redo it. And these people have been following me. They've been following me for an entire year. I said I was speaking again. I wanted to speak. I pitched myself there and was chosen as a speaker. And then I received the news. Then congratulations, because of everything then we do. You see, sometimes the work then you do will have some impact, but it can have some impact a year later. And I think we don't think of that. You see, we think of it as there's a right timing. We pitch ourselves somewhere to speak, or we pitch ourselves with a client and we get a no and we give up. And giving up is not really in a vocabulary of an entrepreneur. Or we say, well, I need to wait for the right time. There's no right time. Whether it's to hire a coach, whether it's to learn how to speak on stage, whether it's to learn how to get better client, whether it is to pitch yourself to an event you've been dying to do, whether it's to do a TED Talk like you've always dreamed of. Don't wait for the right timing. Don't wait until you feel better. Don't wait for the ever popular, as soon as I have more time, as soon as I have more money, as soon as I have more energy. Sometimes you have to do something towards your business goals the minute you decide you want it. Chances are, if you don't do that, you'll lose your momentum. I see that all the time. We want to make more money. We want our business to change. We don't want to be in the same place where we were last year. However, we're like, I'm already operating as a deficit. I can't invest more money. Well, if you don't invest, you're going to end up in the same, nothing's going to change. You're going to end up in the same place. And whether you invest in a business coach, in a copywriter, in a marketing person, you have to try to do something different. That is so important for you to grow. And then you actually can take care of your clients. You can take care of your customers. You see, your clients and customers, they want to know that they'll be taken care of. They want to feel like they're not just another dollar sign. A reliable way to attract new customers is really to show them how well you look after your current one. And I know that for me, my clients are everything. I cherish my client. I will go out of my way sometimes to fit them into a time slot that I totally don't really have available. I want my client to know that you're not just a number. Big time. And if I have made a commitment, I will go out of my way to honor it. And I am so proud that I operate that way because I feel like that is actually differentiating me from others. Not everyone will love the type of service than you have. But you will probably find a great amount of people who do, if you know where they are, if you know who that person is, if you know what type of service you need to focus on. Really focus on what you do best. Keep developing. I mean, this is what it's about. But you cannot just go on your first client than you had as an entrepreneur and not changing anything and think that you're capable of satisfying every single person every time. Unless you're selling like an online program, that's different. For me, each client looks different. Each company looks different. Why? Because I take a look at their business. I take a look at their entire business model. What are they offering? Who's their avatar? Who's their ideal client? What pain point do they fix? And then from there on, it's really about building the business around that. You see, when you guys, when you are with your clients, or whether you're a photographer or a marketer, you don't do the exact same thing for everybody. You cater it to their needs. And I see too many people out there who don't. This is not a cookie-cutter program as an entrepreneur, unless you do something online. But each person has a different need. Each client has a different, has something different to offer. And as I am getting ready to actually leave the country again. So I just got back from the Bahamas. I was there speaking. I was there writing my book. I was there at a conference. I learned, I delivered, I gave, and it was so much fun. And I am getting ready to leave for Italy, for Rome. I am the keynote speaker. This Friday. So I am flying on Tuesday with my youngest daughter. She will be joining me. And then we will have some fun on Wednesday and Thursday. And then Fridays. And then, no, I'm speaking on Saturday. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we'll be at the conference. And I think, I don't have the appointment in front of me. No, I am the keynote on Friday. And I am a breakout session on Saturday. But beside those 2 days, we'll have fun to go around and explore and visit. We'll be going to St. Peter for Mass on Sunday. today is actually is Sunday, and I just got back from church, from my local church, where I go every week. And I was really, as I was exiting, I was like, wow, next Sunday, church will be so different. I will be in the Vatican, in St. Peter. So that was exciting. But guys, so of course, a lot of people, of course, I'm posting online, right? But a lot of people are like, wow, you're so lucky. I can't believe it. You're going to Italy. Wow, that's wonderful. And guys, they didn't just call me. They didn't pick up the phone and say, hey, hi, Katia, we want to have you. That is not how it works. Even to get keynotes, even to get paid, unless you are someone really, really famous, people who are like Hillary Clinton, who are like Ivanka Trump on the other side, or who are in Rachel Hollis into the self-development world, or all of these people. Yes, of course, they are getting calls a lot, but I am not that yet. And I pitch myself even for keynotes. And that took almost 7 months for me to land this, to get an answer, to agree on all of the logistics, to agree on the money coming in, to agree on how many nights of my hotel were they going to pay, like all of these things. It's hard work. And all of these guys, to go back to what we were talking about at the beginning, there is no shortcut. There are no shortcuts. So with all of this, I will leave you. And I wish you a great rest of your day, of your week. Go out there and focus on maybe just analyzing what is the direction your business is going for you, and where do you want it to be. With that, I wish you a wonderful week. Au revoir.